The story begins at a university. Here we see a student named Emily. She wants to go home, so she is talking to her friend. She mentions that she might take the bus. Her friend messages her, suggesting that she should check the campus ride board. It's possible that a student might be heading towards Delaware, where her home is, and could give her a lift. In fact, there is a notice board on campus where students write down where they are going to help each other out, so anyone in need can get a lift. Emily goes there and finds out that a student is heading towards Delaware. She immediately gets in touch with him. The guy quickly brings his car there, and then they set off. During the journey, as they're talking, Emily realizes from the guy's conversation that he already knows quite a bit about her. The guy mentions that he's in the same class as her. Emily is surprised because she never noticed him before. On the way, they come across a petrol station. Emily says she needs to use the restroom, so the guy stops the car. However, Emily had just painted her toenails. The guy carries her on his shoulders into the petrol station and she goes to the restroom. However, as she tries to exit, the restroom door locks on its own. She knocks loudly on the door, but no one hears her. She notices that the guy and the petrol station worker are chatting with each other, seemingly oblivious to her knocking. After a short while, the door opens. Emily comes out and angrily shouts at the guy. He doesn't understand why she's shouting at him, but both he and the worker are quite surprised by her behavior. The guy had taken from the petrol station. He had taken it. Although Emily wanted to give him half the money, he refused, saying, "I don't take money from my friends," after which they both set off on their journey again. Suddenly, Guy leaves the highway and turns onto another road. Emily asks in surprise, "Why did you leave the highway?" Guy replies, "Because this is a shortcut and we reach our destination quicker." During this time, Emily also realizes that Guy had lied. He doesn't even live in Goodlaway, so Emily says, "I found out about you. Why did you lie about yourself? I want to know more." Just then, a car was approaching from the front, almost about to collide with theirs. The cow managed to steer the car with great difficulty, and the car got stuck in the snow. Both of them got out of the car, and by the time they did, the other car that was coming towards them had already gone. They tried to call the police, but there was no network, which meant they were now stuck. Then they noticed that the car coming from the front had left no tire marks in the snow. However, this doesn't usually happen, as every car that passes over snow leaves a trail, which puzzled both of them. They can't quite understand how this could happen. Emily goes back inside the car because it was quite cold outside and it had also become night. Bio says to open the door that he also wants to come inside, but Emily doesn't open the door because, according to her, all this is happening because of Guy. They are both badly stuck. Guy decides that he will walk back to the gas station to get help, after which he sets off. MD turns on the radio inside the car. From the radio, she learns that a snowstorm is coming tonight, which will cause the temperature. It could drop to 30 degrees, which means it's going to be extremely cold here. Now, Emily was sitting worried in the car when she suddenly saw a shadow in front of her, as she calls out to it because she thinks it might be a local person who could help. However, it doesn't hear her voice and goes away. Now Emily had come out of the car, and shortly after, the guy returns. He tells the family that he went to the petrol station, but they had already closed it. Emily is suspicious. She says, "The petrol station is open 24 hours. And it's quite far from here. How did you return so quickly? That can't be possible." Actually, Emily doesn't trust anything Guy says. Now, Guy is shivering, so he gets in the car, turns on the heater, and sits. A bit later, Emily also gets back in. As she notices blood behind Guy's ear and tells him, Guy says maybe he's injured. The injury is on his head, and Emily asks why he lied. "You don't even live there." Then Guy admits, "Yes, it's true, I don't live in Delaware. Actually, when you were talking to your friend in class, I read all your messages. I like you. I wanted to be friends with you. So I wrote on the board that I was going to Delaware so I could spend a few hours with you and we could become good friends." Upon hearing this, initially Emily gets angry, but after a while she forgives him. While they are talking, suddenly the car heater stops working. They both step outside to check and discover that the fuel tank is leaking. The car has run out of petrol, which is why it won't start, and if the car won't start, the heater won't work either. This means they have to spend the entire night in the cold. A little later, when Emily goes outside to use the toilet, she sees some priests. She quickly calls for Guy, but by then the priests have moved on. Guy tells her to get back in the car and he will follow them. Emmeline returns to the car, and Guy follows the priests to a house. Unusual and unsettling things manifest. A police officer walks past the family's vehicle. She attempts to call out to him, but he does not hear her. I reach out and place a hand on his shoulder to halt him, but as soon as I do, my glove ignites. The officer turns around, and upon seeing his face, I am compelled to scream because it is horrifying. In reality, he is not human. His face is a demonic countenance. When he opens his mouth, a serpent emerges. The family is alarmed. They wish to flee, but standing before them are two young boys. They were significantly injured. Someone had assaulted them severely, and witnessing all this, Emily couldn't endure it and lost consciousness. A short while later, Guy returns and, observing Emily in this condition, lifts her up. Emily was terrified. She recounts to Guy everything she had witnessed, after which they both return to the car. After some time, a police officer arrives. However, this time, he appeared to be a normal individual. He instructs both of them to exit the car and they comply. He insistently tells Emily to get into his vehicle. Emily harbored suspicions about his intentions. Consequently, she declined. But when he persistently insisted, Guy struck him from behind with a metal rod. Your hand got injured. But then suddenly a wave emerges, and immediately after, they are shown back inside the car. She was astonished, wondering what had just happened to them. It felt as if it was all a bad dream, yet the iron rod with which he attacked the officer was still in Guy's hand. It wasn't a dream. The cold was so intense that the rod stuck to Guy's hands. When they remove it, his hands get quite injured. The family sees a newspaper that Guy had brought from the house where he had been. It was given while following, and it contained news of accidents that occurred on this road, which included the name of a priest. It also mentioned that all the people who had died in this place had a police officer's involvement. And this means that all the people they had encountered here were not alive, but were spirits that had been wandering on this road for years. Due to the cold, both of them fell asleep in the car for a while. But in the middle of the night, the family had a vision in which they saw the same police officer who had approached their car, forcibly taking a woman from the same place. He dragged her out and did something wrong to her, after which he mercilessly killed the poor woman. When this vision comes, Emily starts shaking violently. The singer wakes up and alerts Emily. She was quite frightened by this vision, which Guy tries to calm her from. Suddenly, their car starts shaking violently. Both are scared, but after some time, everything becomes calm again. Guy's condition starts deteriorating because the injury at the back of his head was gradually becoming serious. He had hidden this fact from Emily until now, but now Emily understood everything. He explains, when I was heading to the petrol station, I realized I was quite badly injured inside, so I couldn't make it. I came back to you. The family is very worried about Guy, so she climbs up the telephone pole where there was an emergency phone. She makes a call, but the signal is very weak. As a result, the operator can't hear her voice clearly. She then climbs down from the pole, and at that moment, the spirit of the woman appears before her, the one who was assaulted and killed by the police officer. She panics and quickly she goes back inside. She sees that Guy is unconscious and tries to revive him. But Guy had already passed away, which makes her very upset. She takes Guy's body out of the car. Just then, she saw a vehicle approaching. Initially, Emily thought it was the police officer's car, but it was actually a snowplow driver's vehicle who was responsible for clearing the road of snow. When Emily had climbed the telephone pole and made a call for help, it had gone through to this driver, which is why he had come with his vehicle to assist. First, they place Guy's body in his vehicle, then Emily gets into the vehicle and the two of them leave the scene. On the way, the driver tells Emily that in 1950, there was a greedy and insane police officer who killed all those people. He would deliberately bring his car in front of people's cars on this road so that they would have an accident and die. In 1953, he caused an accident for two boys' cars. Their car fell into a ravine. These are the same two girls who Emily also saw the spirit. Now, on that day, the police officer had consumed a lot of alcohol. As a result, he couldn't control his car and it too fell into a ditch. The police officer died in that accident, but even after that, accidents occur on that road every Christmas night. In 1961, some priests' bodies were found in the same place, frozen in the snow. Now, as the driver was telling all this to the MLA, another car came from the front. To avoid that car, the driver swerved his car to one side, causing it to get stuck in the snow. He steps down a little. He saw that the car which had come from the front had fallen into the ditch and was on fire. This was actually the same accident that happened in 1953. In this, the police officer was killed. The driver goes down. In front of him, there are some priests. He sees the old accident from 1953. When the police officer's accident happened, the priests were present around him. Now, if they wanted, they could have helped him, but they knew that he was a greedy, dishonest police officer who had caused the deaths of many people. Additionally, they had disabled his car's microphone. They had removed it so that he couldn't call for help, which led to his death. Later, his evil spirit returned and killed all those priests. Now, as the driver moves forward, the spirit of the police officer emerges from the fire and grabs the driver, causing him to slowly freeze and die as well. By then, Emily had also arrived and was terrified by what she saw. She goes back to the car and tries to start it, but it doesn't start. Just then, the spirit of the police officer begins to attack Emily in order to kill her as well. But before it can harm her, Guy's spirit arrives. She attacks the police officer's spirit with an iron rod, just as Emily had seen in her vision. As the attack happens, a wave emerges once again. The family finds themselves back inside Guy's car, with Guy's body nearby, and it quickly becomes morning. Emily sees Guy's spirit outside. Although Guy's body is lying in front of her, Emily knows that this is Guy's spirit there to help her. That's why she follows him. The spirit of the cow leads her from that house to the petrol station, where an ambulance soon arrives, saving Emily's life. Emily now understood everything, that the cow never wanted to harm her. He loved her and just wanted to spend a few hours with her. The family only had one picture of the cow, which she had taken with her phone. She looks at that photo and cries a lot because she misses him. She was very sad and regretted that she had been angry with the cow many times. Sir, let me explain further what was happening here. You see, when the police officer had an accident in 1953 and died, his spirit got trapped in a loop. This is why every night the spirit returns, recreating its accident, in which it repeatedly dies and also takes the lives of others. Just as it killed Guy, it also killed the truck driver and those priests in 1961. It killed every person that came along. It would have killed the family too, but Guy's spirit saved them, showing his love for them. Proved it. But the poor fellow couldn't save himself, and with this sad ending, the story comes to an end here.